Alright everybody, welcome back to part 2 of my collection update video. If you did not see part 1, stop right here, go back and watch it. That way you're caught up with the rest of us. For the rest of you who have been watching, this is part 2, and now we're going to start getting into one of my favorite genus so far in the hobby. I'm fairly new. July of this coming year will be 2 years, so I'm fairly new, but so far in keeping and their beauty and their variety and everything, this is one of my favorite genus. You may be able to recognize, most of you experienced keepers, just by the looks of this sling, that this is a new world. This is a North American species. This is one of several Brachypelma genus that I have. This one here is my Brachypelma albiceps sling. I got this one from Pinchers and Pokies back early summer, I do believe. It's molted a couple of times in my care. It's maybe 5/8 of an inch. If you're not familiar with a tape or a ruler, that's the mark between 1/2 inch and 3/4 of an inch. So again, another slow grower. But I got it. It was under 1/2 inch when I got it. It was the only one that was available. And back when I was looking for this tarantula, they were very hard to find. There were many sites that had them listed in their inventory, but as soon as you clicked on it, it said they were sold out or whatever. So this was the only one that I could find at the time, and I really had to have it, so I bought it. So this is another one. It's a very beautiful species when it gets older. When they get older, they have like a jet velvety black legs and a red abdomen, a lot like the Brachypelma vagans, but they have a blonde carapace, a lot like the Chalcodes, the Aphonopelma chalcodes, the Arizona blonde. So it's just a beautiful combination of colors. This one is quite chill, as are most Brachypelmas, or at least the ones that I have. It doesn't do a whole lot. I have done a couple of videos and gotten some takedowns on it, so you can go back and look for those if you want to. But this one here is pretty chill. Can't wait to see it when it gets bigger. That's all I can really say on this tarantula. That has been my Brachypelma albiceps. The common name for this, which we don't like to use in the hobby, is the Mexican golden red rump. If you've never seen one of these, go look at photos of them. Then you'll know why the common name is the Mexican golden red rump. Let's go find another brachy. So most of you with even the slightest trained eye may be able to recognize this tarantula here. This is another Brachypelma. This one is very popular in the hobby. And a lot of times, generally, if you just kind of do a general search of tarantula or something like that, this is the photo that's going to pop up. This is the one that was featured in horror movies back in the 50s and 60s when media tried to tell you that these guys were deadly and were out to kill you and eat your face off. This was one they used a lot. Another very beautiful species. This is the Brachypelma hamori. This little guy here I got from Fear Not. This was actually my first tarantula from Fear Not, and it was a package thing. Again, I got it in my head that I had to have one of these, and so I just pulled the trigger and got one, the first that I could find, with the enclosure and 30-day guarantee and everything. I couldn't resist. It was sold as under 1/2 inch, and it's probably 2 1/4 inches now, maybe. So it's a slow grower, but not as slow growing as some others. This one is very chill. Very chill. I've only seen it kick hairs maybe once. I mean, I can kind of even show you a little bit. I don't like to bother them too much. But just to show you how calm this tarantula is. Now watch it make a liar out of me. It doesn't respond much when you touch it at all. I mean, I've thrown feeders in there, and the feeders crawl underneath the tarantula, and it just raises up and lets it crawl underneath it. I've watched roaches stay underneath this tarantula for a minute or two. So, this is a great starter for any of you who are just getting into the hobby. This would be a great starter. They can be hard to find sometimes, but here in the United States, it's a lot easier to find them. I live in Texas, so they're actually just south of me in Mexico. That's where they're native to. So, if you're just looking into getting into tarantulas, this would be a good one to start with. But that's not the only good starter. I'll show you some other good starters here in just a minute. Let's go find us another Brachypelma. Okay, so here is another one of my favorite tarantula species, and out of my collection, this is one of my favorite tarantulas. I don't have a favorite, but it's just one of my favorites, and this is also one of my more valuable in my collection. This is the last of the smaller tarantulas. This is a sub-adult. I got this one from Jamie's Tarantulas. Now, I know this one looks similar to the last one. They're from the same genus, the Brachypelma genus, but it's a different species. This is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful brachypelmas. This is the Brachypelma auratum, or the Mexican flame knee. This is my female. She's a subadult female that I got from Jamie's Tarantulas, and she was about an inch and a half, I believe, when I bought her. She's molted once since I got her, because again, New World's brachypelmas, Aphonopelmas, grammostolas, they're slow growers. She's molted once, but she's probably a good 2.25 inches now. So hopefully down the line, she may be another breeding project. I've got one other Brachypelma auratum, which he is a subadult male, but he's much older than her, so I don't think there's going to be a breeding project there. You'll see him here in a minute. But this is another one of my favorites. She also does pretty good with takedowns, but this is another species within the Brachypelma genus that I think is so beautiful. Just the colors just really pop and stand out on this tarantula, so I really like having them. I've got two of these. I have two of the Harpactira pulchripes as well, which you will see the second one here in just a little bit. So let's move on to the bigger spider, shall we? And so here is my second Brachypelma auratum. This was actually the first B auratum that I got. I saw a video from another YouTuber. He was actually babysitting his friend's tarantulas, and he featured these in his video, and I was just smitten. I had to have one. And so I got this guy. As a tarantula hobbyist, you know, it's probably usually a no-no to try to get tarantulas from someone who specializes in reptiles, especially online. But it was one of those things I had to have. It was the only ones that I could find in stock. And this one was listed at 3 inches. But I had to have it. And so I got it. Turned out to be male, sadly. But I still love this tarantula. This is my favorite tarantula in terms of temperament. He is the most handleable species that I have. The most handleable tarantula that I have. Now, I do not condone handling, but that's a preferential thing among individuals. Unnecessary handling, I do not condone. If the tarantula is calm and you are calm, and in some cases where it needs to happen, then it's okay. But, you know, like I said, it's one of those things that's widely debated in the hobby. But this is another favorite tarantula of mine. They're so beautiful. And when he molts, those reds on those knees are gonna pop so much more. And then you'll see why they're called the Mexican flame knee. But this guy here, I decided to name once I sexed him, because I don't like to name my tarantulas until I sex them. Once I found out he was a male, I decided to name him Stanley, as in Stan Lee from Spider-Man. And I don't think I mentioned it in the last tarantula that we featured, my female Brachypelma auratum, but her name is Ruby. I actually got a subscriber poll off another friend's live stream, and we did the announcement on his live stream. If you didn't see that, go back and check it out. My buddy Norvis, Eight-Legged Critters, another great guy. Go check out his channel. He's got some awesome stuff. So I had several subscribers list names, and I picked Ruby because I just thought that fit her. And of course, Stanley is just a good name for this little guy. So that's all I've got on this fella right here. Let's go on to the next one. Alright guys, so here is the second biggest tarantula in my collection, but in my opinion the most beautiful, and probably one of my most favorite, and most definitely my most valuable. She's a little pissed off right now. This is another old world. This is a baboon tarantula. This is my Harpactira pulchripes female. Her name is Phoebe. In Greek mythology, the name Phoebe meant brilliant or shining, so I thought that was a fitting name for her. She is pretty pissed off right now. She's an old world. She stays out in the open, but she's a decent Weber, you know, but she stays out in the open. She has been, in my experience, quite calm since she got bigger, but before she got bigger, she was like the other sling that I have. Every time you moved her enclosure, she ran and hid, so that's just one of the behaviors of the slings of this species, or even maybe some of the old world baboons. They stay out, but as soon as you move the enclosure, they go to hide. That seems to be the MO of most of my slings. She's definitely one of my favorites. Oops, dropped the camera. And most beautiful. Wow, that could have been ugly. But right now, she is, as you can see there, kind of striking a thread pose. I would show you from the other side, but I would have to go through the enclosure, and you can see the side of the enclosure is kind of milky, so we wouldn't get to see much. I have done some videos where she was pissed and threw up a threat posture. Go back and look for those. They're pretty exciting. But this has been my female Harpagtail poker piece. Hopefully the one that I will breed to the other one. It's hopefully a male. This has been Phoebe. Let's move on to the last one, guys. Alright, and so here is my final tarantula. This was also my first tarantula. Also one of my favorite species. This is another great beginner species. Most of you may recognize it if you're familiar with tarantulas in the hobby as the GBB, the green bottle blue tarantula, the Chromatopelma cyanopupescens. This is the last one, but definitely not the least. He was the star of my show for the longest time. This is my mature male Augie. I've been focusing more on him lately because he did molt. It was last month on my birthday, December 10th. And today now is January the 8th, so it's been over a month. But he didn't eat for a month and a half before that, so it's been a very long time since he's eaten. I have tried at least 3 times over the past few weeks since I got back from my Christmas trip to feed this guy, and just not much response at all. But he's been quite active today with his enclosure. He's actually torn up some of what he had done and redid it. Now this area here was all web tunnel, all the way up here to the front of the enclosure, and you could just barely see him through all of that. Well, he has torn that down and just opened it up down in there, and all of this was covered in webbing right here in this corner as well, and he has torn that down and opened it up. And then earlier he was out crawling around here and doing some webbing. You can see a little bit of his poo there. That's some very old stuff. But I'm hoping in the next few days to get a feeding video of him as well. That's the end of my tarantula collection. I hope you enjoyed that. Some other ideas that I was talking about on videos. I'm thinking about doing a video on my Red Runner roach colony and how I keep it and how I care for them and everything. If you're interested in seeing a video like that, please let me know in the comments. I've also thought about doing a few other videos. I trying to do these videos where I plan out what I'm going to say. Sometimes this doesn't work out. I'm better spontaneously as a talker, so thinking about maybe doing a live stream at some point if I have enough people interested, and then you can just ask me questions, and if I've got an answer, I'll tell you. And if it gets too boring, I'll just cut it off pretty soon. Let's see. There was another video idea that I had, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was. But if you have any kind of suggestions or anything that you might want to see out of my collection or anything, please let me know. I have 13 tarantulas, I have several true spiders, and I have a number of scorpions. So anything you're interested in seeing, just please let me know. I hope you enjoyed this video. It wasn't meant to be informational, just entertaining. But if there's anything that informational-wise, anything you want to know or learn that I may know, just please feel free to ask me, and I'll share what I can. All of that having been done and said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't do these videos, of course. But I really appreciate all your support. Welcome to all the newbies. Big thumbs up to all you guys that have been subscribed to me for a while. And so now we're into the end of all of that. Everything's been said. I want to do my shout out. And this shout out is to my subscriber that suggested that I do this update video. He's also a very good friend of mine. And if you haven't subscribed to his channel yet, please go out there and do that. Really awesome guy. His channel name is Tennessee Tarantulas. Really awesome dude. Great content. Got an awesome collection. He's been doing it for like 14 years. So the guy knows his shit. So if there's something that I don't know that you ask me about, ask him because he'll tell you. So there you go, Tennessee. Here's that update video you were asking for. Again, I hope everybody has had a great new year. Look forward to some more awesome stuff from this channel, and I look forward to some more awesome stuff from you guys. Hopefully we can get to be better friends, get to know each other better. Remember, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great night. God bless.